You are live. That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Once again, fresh off the Royal Rumble. The Wrestling Wrealm is back in the building, and we have quite a bit to discuss today. We have injuries, CM Punk out of the Rumble. We have winners, Cody Rhodes, BAYLEY. Was it the right decision? Was it not the right decision? The Bloodline. What happens next? We have all that and more coming up right after this. But listen, I want you guys to do me a favor. Don't go too far because the intro is not as long as it used to be. Let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Wrealm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. Follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Threads, X, Facebook, at Wrestling Wrealm. Like, subscribe, and engage in the conversation with us. You can download all of our audio content anytime on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Watch us, subscribe to our Twitch channel at the Wrestling Wrealm. Bet you didn't know that. Yes, we have a Twitch channel, but guess what, though? We are back, and the boys are ready. Because guess what? I am your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen. He is your host. Brother Hugh, super producer, has the third H to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D. He is your host, the Belt King, Brandon the Guy, fresh off of championship culture. Guess what? In the building, wiping his eyes, because guess what? We got a long show. And he is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the solid rock of the Wrestling Wrealm, the soul of what we do.
Hollywood!
Brian H. Waters in the building. Now that's that what you want to feel in that one? Something different.
No, it's cool.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, I'm feeling the pulse. Okay, listen, I'll keep going.
Down 40 years, brother.
No, I'm okay.
I
with
ain't
that.
get
But
Hogan at Royal Rumble, so I'm mad. God dang it.
Great.
first of all,
Great.
how is he going to get to the ring with a walker or cane? But we'll get to that more because we have a lot to discuss when it comes to the Royal Rumble. Sorry, Brian H. But guess what? Speaking of Royal Rumble, if you were royally rumbly like Wrestling Wrealm, please contact us at wrestlingwrealm@gmail.com. Please use the subject line advertise, and we will reach out to you with rates and some more information. So if you want to partner up with the Wrestling Wrealm and you'd like to promote your show or your business, please contact us at wrestlingwrealm@gmail.com. Don't forget to put in the subject line advertise, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible so we can partner up and let's grow our businesses together. Now, speaking of growing your businesses, for all Wrestling Wrealm apparel and merchandise, you can head to that's my new sound effect. I don't know why. WrestlingWrealm.com. That's right. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. If you want to dress like the Wrestling Wrealm, if you want to support the brand and what we do, head over to WrestlingWrealm.com. This is where you can find all of our merchandise and apparel. We have so much coming soon. We've added a few things to the website as well. We dropped a few prices, and pretty soon we will be doing some live unboxings here in 2024 of some of our merchandise available at the WrestlingWrealm.com, just so you fans can get a closer look at the things that we designed and just, how we like to represent ourselves and represent our wonderful brand. So for all merchandise and apparel, once again, head over to WrestlingWrealm.com. Now, if that's not enough for you and you can't get enough of the Wrestling Wrealm, trust me, I know the feeling. That's why we have created, once again, a Patreon. Patreon.com/The Wrestling_Wrealm. Please do not forget the underscore. Yes, it's there. It's there. The underscore is there. Yes, Patreon.com/The Wrestling_Wrealm for all exclusive shows and bonus material. Brian H's thoughts. Realness Reacts coming soon. Maybe a little bit of championship culture stuff. We have everything from blooper reels to information to stories we can't necessarily tell on the air. Please be patient with us. We are adding things daily. Not to mention, we have something for you figure collectors, and we have something for the belt collectors, and we have some people who just love to take gossip and run with it, especially about special trips to WrestleMania. Speaking about things we can't say on the air, brother, you can find all that and more at patreon.com. Brand H is laughing / the wrestling _realm. Now, all those Ravens are no longer, in the postseason hunt. We're not going to dwell on that too much, but guess what? I don't know if this is the right graphic, Brian.
That is the right one. Yes,
It's the
sir.
right one.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I just wanted to make sure. Now, if you are, even though the Ravens are not making it to the Super Bowl, it's fine. But if you are still looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use the promo code Wrestling Wrealm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. So chances are you're probably going to go to a live show, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's professional wrestling. That's clearly what we're here to talk about. 2 tickets are probably going to cost you either up to or more than $50. So guess what? The Wrestling Wrealm is once again here to save the day. We have provided our own promo code. We have partnered with SeatGeek, Wrestling Wrealm, all one word, Wrestling Wrealm. Don't forget 2 W's to save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more. If you have used this purchase code one time already and under one email, do yourself a favor and sign up with another email. Brian H told me not to tell you, but I'm telling you anyway. Actually, Brian H was the one that gave us that secret. So shout out to you, Brian H. So SeatGeek.com, use promo code Wrestling Wrealm, get yourself $20 off your purchase, any one-time purchase of $50 or more. I believe that is the end of our advertisers, and we are officially here. Wrestling Wrealm, brothers, welcome to the goddamn show. This is the part where we start to get into a little bit of Royal Rumble, get into what we watch. But first, the most important thing we have to do, we have to talk about the most recent brand expansion. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Championship Culture Season 2 has officially begun, and the second episode officially aired yesterday. I missed the live show, and I was not happy about that. But of course,
there we go.
I know. I hope you all heard that in your ears.
The return of the paper.
If you're listening to this on audio, if you didn't think I didn't have,
somebody switches up real
I
quick.
missed the live show.
My bad. I'm sorry. Can somebody switch us up, please? I don't want to be the guy.
You don't want to be the guy?
I want to be. Yeah, I want to be myself.
There we
go. You don't want to be the guy?
That's my
okay, that's better. Okay.
And if they watch it on Spotify, the best podcast app in the world, they can see it. They can see you with the paper.
There you go. So watch on Spotify. You can see it. The best podcast in the world. In case you didn't know about the new intro. We're kings of the podcast game. Anyways, we're going to keep going. Championship Culture Season 2 up and running. YouTube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm Championship Culture playlist. Brother Guy, Brother Hugh, we are finally back, gentlemen. I enjoyed myself last week being on the first episode as we had to finish our story like some of the participants in this year's 2024 Royal Rumble. And guess what, though? The story continues with, yeah, that's right. Suck it, Brian H. We back, baby. Oh, I can't wait.
There looking like, I don't believe this. This mofo gonna finish the goddamn story.
Yes, casual. Yes, we talked about side plays. There was quite a few side plays that was being talked about. But episode 2 of Championship Culture, Brother Hugh, Brother Brandon, you want to tell the people what they missed this on yesterday's episode of Championship Culture? Dramatic.
Y'all missed he's not gonna say.
Oh, you know it. You know it. I've been waiting for
I know you wasn't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
I'm actually watching it right now, but you missed a great discussion on network logo belts. A belt was introduced on, I believe it was February 18th, 2013 by The Rock. And that was the beginning. Technically, it wasn't because it's spinning belt, but that was the beginning of the network logo belts, the big logo on the front of the belts. And we just went into an in-depth conversation about, the design of the belt, the purpose of the belt, whether it was good or bad for business. And it kind of just segued off into a discussion about side plates and everything else that has to do with belts. So I advise you to go ahead and tune in. It was a great discussion.
Music to my ears.
Brother Brandon, why are you so quiet on the subject?
Because I was trying to let Hugh take the reins on this one because
he did.
Apparently Hugh enjoyed episode 2, and it was not what I was saying. He was running everything in the background, and we had a surprise appearance from friend of the show and friend of the Wrestling Wrealm, Ben Walker from Championship Belt Brothers and Championship Figure Brothers. And not to be outdone, the comments were on fire. The questions were rapid fire in. We had a lot of questions, a lot of additions to the conversation. We kind of went left. It was steering each way, but we kept it going. I think a 40-minute show is 45 minutes is what we had slated for. It became an hour and 45 minutes, and it didn't even feel like it. Like I looked up at the count, I said, "Oh, it's 142." So yeah, and then questions kept coming, comments kept coming. So when I tell you, it really was a let's try to see what people had to say, and it tied in even back to season 1 when we talked about does the strap matter, because the question of the color came up. The side play questions, and does size matter? Because remember, and Dwayne, I don't know if you remember this, back when they were first producing belts in the 2000s, a lot of them were 2 millimeters. And
I remember.
Yep, and the straps doesn't hold up in the old belts, but the newer belts, everybody complained about them being stiff, but the straps are like night and day. And when I tell you, it was a
using
lot
shaving cream.
Yes,
to loosen their belts. During that era.
And it was a lot of back. Yes, you remembered. Ben showed off a lot of rare things in his collection. Again, if you missed it, go check it out. And I will tell you this: these bad boys, I didn't know a lot of people had questions about these, and this is just one of the sets. And I even showed off some of the belts, and I wondered if Dwayne Notes are going to say about one thing, but I will say it was crazy because I dropped a little nugget saying the spinner was the precursor to a network belt. It was technically our first network belt, the first time they really took the focus off of an eagle and the globe and really put the focus on the actual logo. Yeah. But our first official one was when The Rock debuted. But I'm gonna wait and see what these paper notes have to say before I make any more comments. But definitely a interactive show, and I appreciate everybody that came. And the comments were. The participation, the comments, everything was insane. So and insane in a good way. Look at him with his paper.
Definitely, everybody. So if you want to be a part of the, if you don't know, and I'm telling you this for those who are listening and those who are watching, it's like Brian Nash said on Spotify. If some of Championship Culture shows are live shows, usually when it's guests, is that correct? Am I not too far by saying that? Usually when you have guests on. Those are live shows, and it's in the comments is the hangout space. It's no different than what we do in the Wrestling Wrealm. We'll get to the comments. Thank you for everybody that's coming in and joining us because you guys are already filling in. So shout out to you guys. It's the same way with Championship Culture on Tuesdays where, you jump in. You usually when I get in there, I'm very disruptive. I can't be on the show, but I'm long-winded, so I have my 2 cents. But guess what though? When I'm not available to be on the show, I've got notes. So if you don't mind. We're going to take a small detour. My Championship Culture notes. 10 or 12 years ago, before there was a such thing as a Championship Culture, Brian H. and the Realness used to have their own version of Championship Culture. That wasn't the main thing of what we talked about, but it was something we often went into discussion about outside of Morgan State's famous communications building. What is it called now, Brian H?
School of Global Journalism.
There's no other name of it? It's just that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if they put somebody's neck like Earl Reed or something. Okay. No. The School of Global Journalism.
They should name it Morgan State Wrestling Wrealm School of Global Journalism.
It makes sense. I mean, we brought a lot of attention outside that building, and we brought a lot of money there that we didn't.
Let's call it for what it is. We got sat down, and he was he who shall not be named, and you and I was who can be named and probably shouldn't be named, but also can be named and maybe shouldn't be named. And he said, I need to go to the promised land. I need to get the big companies to utilize our students. This is where y'all come in. And we had this conversation over chicken and collard greens.
Yes, which was quite delicious. And once again, like the true businessmen that we are, Brian H., myself, we took care of business. But
we did the job.
You mentioned something. You mentioned something very specific on this latest episode of Championship Culture, where you talked about I guess the beginning of what we're calling the network logo belt. You talked about when that 2013 WWE Championship debuted. I remember me and Brian H. were outside as usual, and we were having a discussion about there was word that there was going to be this They were going to debut a new championship. It was coming out. I don't know. We heard the dirt sheets, so they made it official. And I remember I was like, bro, Brian H. We were both belt guys because like I said, we were Brian H. we were about to really jump into replica. Well, Brian H. was. I was broke, but Brian H.
went to Morgan
at WrestleMania. But we were talking about the spinner title and how it took a while for it to grow on me. But by the time it grew on me, I was like, okay, they're going to debut something different. And West Coast Choppers. I think Ben said West Coast Customs, and I was like, no, it's West Coast Choppers. West Coast Choppers, Jesse James, they had leaked this image of this plate, and I was like, there's no way in the world that's the main plate. It doesn't even look like anything WWE related. And I remember when we first saw it, and I was livid, was not happy about it. And Brian is like, well, you never know. Brian, he loves it, and I was like, nah, bro, that ain't it. I'm not a fan of it. And then the Rock won. He debuted. Said, "This isn't a WWE Championship. This is," and they took the they unveiled the curtain, and I saw it, and I was like, "That is not it." It was so different from what we were used to. It was bad enough that the spinner was so different. The spinner took me like 6 years to actually gravitate towards it, and I didn't start liking the spinner until it had literally WWE champ on both sides, not the Raw or the SmackDown. I hated those. I said I don't like. Look at it. Look at Brian spinning. And the crazy part is, even that replica that he has behind him, and that spinner belt is, I was mad when they sold him. It's because if you remember John Cena's, he had a real thick plate. Like his plating was like 6 or 7 millimeter. Like it was stacked. And then when they released it, or like when he had the match with Ray, and they had to I said, why is this all skinny and thin looking? And John Cena's was all big and it's heavy looking. Like it was heavy. So I remember not being too happy about that, but that was just my 2 cents. I'm not going to get into everything. If you want to go back and watch that episode of I guess it's the second episode of Championship Culture Season 2, the network logo belts. Head over
I
to
watched
YouTube.
it. Had it on earlier today. I was working on some things. Great show. Good for the business.
Absolutely. And look at that photo of the guy. Look at him. That's the wonderful photo. So
look, that's that when you out here changing lives.
Oh yeah,
one belt at a time.
And speaking of
put smile on people's faces.
And speaking of changing lives and putting smiles on their face, thank you, D Wade. LeBron, Brian Ace has always been D Wade, and I've been LeBron Days, just coming to dunk. Speaking of that, you guys have been busy again. We want to send a special shout out to Stephanie Hardy and the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, because Brandon the guy has done it again. He has made another dream come true. He has he has designed and he has brought to life another another vision for someone in the culture, a friend of the program, Stephanie Hardy, and her show, her brand new Hardy Wrestling Podcast Championship title. So definitely shout out to Stephanie Hardy and the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Hold on. There we go. I want to give you guys a round of applause. A lot of patriotic excuses going on right now in my brain, but yeah, this thing is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely beautiful, and I remember Brian just kind of made the comment like, man, when the process for this whole genre of belt making can be a little painstaking when it comes to creativity and timing and all those things. But like Brian said, there's no denying the smile that I'm sure you put on Stephanie's face. I spoke to her on Twitter and I told her, welcome to the club. She said, I wish we could, cheers to our belts. And I said, trust me, one day we will. So definitely shout out to
have a belt event. What y'all think?
I think so. I think everybody
have a belt party. Everybody
bring your titles, bring the straps.
Everybody bring the titles. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's and Brandon's gonna be like the Michelin Man, just wrapped up belt, going all the way down. But Brandon, this title, this beautiful championship that you've done for the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and Stephanie Hardy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if you don't believe every belt has a story, Stephanie Hardy told the story of this belt, and when you see the amount of details,
it wasn't Patreon exclusive.
No, she went live and she shared it on Facebook Live, and if you go on any of her social medias, she's been posting about it. She's been reposting. She told the story of it like you might have hints of, it's from our podcast, but when you see how our logo came into play, why she has the side plate she has, this embodies what a custom title should mean to a person. It definitely evoked a emotion and it evoked a feeling. And I'm pretty sure because when she was going live, she did the Stephanie Hardy pose that we always talk about.
The whole time.
And she had,
the whole
yes,
time.
and it was crazy because she did literally unboxing video. You could tell she was trying to open it, but I was like, there's a lot of plastic on there. So it was, and it was crazy because once she saw it, you could tell that's what the belt should do. And that's why I'm so happy with Championship Culture. We're able to do this for people and have them have that sheer joy and that sheer moment of this is mine, because she even mentioned about it. I'm just paraphrasing. Now, when she goes to a show, she has something that she can point at and be like, yep, that's mine. This is representative of me. Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's such a unique design. Like, if you go back and watch it, why it's a ring sideways, it makes total sense how she explains it, because like we said, Championship Culture, every belt has a story. And I was excited to hear this one because as y'all know my style, sometimes I want to make sure that it's going to eye catch you one way or the other. And I was like, yep, I want to make sure that this was eye catching, and the gold with those colors, it just screams at you. Somebody might be like, well, why is there a VHS tape? Why is there old school microphone? She expresses and explains every aspect of this belt. Only thing I meant for that I'm explaining is why she had the gold bars, but I'm gonna let her explain that part of the story. But there you have it. That's one of a few belts that came out in the last week. Hugh, did you cue up the other one or no? Or we'll have everybody in. We'll have everybody into the show because it was received, and I'm just waiting. I don't want to post it until the person that receives it posts it, because I don't know if it's a surprise. I don't know if it's used for something. So we're always closed lips with that until it is revealed. I hope that makes sense. But another happy person with their custom title, and I can tell you this: there's 4 more coming.
Oh wow! So you're in a row. You're in a hot streak.
4 like I said, more coming.
You have a full-blown portfolio. But like I said, for those that want to catch up on Championship Culture, and because truly every belt has a story, head over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm playlist Championship Culture, where you can catch up on everything.
So
Championship
you know what
Culture.
You gotta do, right?
What's that?
What's that?
The realness. You remember that time you whipped out a book of all designs?
Yo, oh boy, oh man, nope, not touching it. Nope, Brian Ace is going there.
I'm just saying, you imagine that.
Took it all the way there.
Culture?
It's for crazy part. His brother Hugh laughed immediately because he knew he was there for the moment too. Brother Brandon, we got to tell you that story off the air. And matter of fact,
jump the shark in the story.
I don't even think it's even safe to do it right now. It's got to be at a later date when I'm not around where I'm at right now. So
yeah. Yeah, I think the brother Brandon, you just pages and pages of belts and showing what a true, people out here call themselves the belt gods and stuff. Brandon know what I'm talking about.
Are you guys taking shots? Where the bullets at? Where the
Nah, I don't got the right ones. They do cool. They do that.
Nah,
I was just going. But
there we go.
Because they go to more shows than me, though. I will say that.
What that mean? But yeah, I think I just think like the designs, the details, because I have you ever been on the conversations? I know Brother Hugh has, obviously. Have you ever been on the intro conversations before somebody gets a belt design?
No, I don't think I believe I have. I don't think I've had that pleasure.
But wait, before you say, look at this comment. It's just the start of the year.
Yeah.
The conversation start is insane.
The next time, if somebody hit me up, I'm putting all y'all in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit mute and just listen.
And it is bad because if I don't respond in time, he's blowing up my phone. Will you answer? What am I? Yep. Look, I want to make sure we answer. I'm like, here, you gotta answer. Like, I think he knows enough.
Nope. He ain't gonna do it.
He was like, nope, come on, answer this.
I told you.
But
yeah. But I will tell you this: if you
put it out there. Who needs a custom belt?
No, we're not gonna say that right here. Okay, all right. But I will say this: before we move on with the show, are we just gonna ignore the fact that there was a new intro, and you're just gonna breeze past it and try to deflect us with championship culture, sir?
You know what? That reminds me. I'm glad you brought that up. I want to wish my beautiful goddaughter a special and happy birthday. Today is her 9th birthday, and Uncle Dwayne loves you, and she's growing up on me very, very fast. So
we don't have a graphic for that.
Shout out to Ariana. I didn't want to put her face on. You know, her daddy's right there. So shout out to Ariana.
Yeah, she damn near stole my face though.
Yeah, pretty much. You couldn't deny if you wanted to. Like it's just the whole face. Like, can you imagine? Not that this will happen because you're not this kind of guy, but can you imagine if you want Maury and like she popped up, especially her baby photos? He's like, Maury, I don't know if she belongs to me or not. Like they were like, Maury, like, come on, man, we're not even here this episode. Go home.
No, when they get the picture, they're gonna say, "Sir, have a good day."
Next. There you go. Come on. What is this? Man? We have a show to do. You're not even trying to
highlight of Mr. School during high school years.
Right.
Stay home in college watching Maury.
It's Maury because it was on. So, but yes, shout out to her. I don't know what you're talking about, brother guy. You brought that up. Yeah, I just figured out was this. You know, we were doing some updating. You know what I mean? Just add some stuff. I figured it was a little bit long, but you know, we have been trying to get some stuff done for a while now. But you know, finally got it done. Did you like it? Let me ask you that, brother Brandon, because you remember the last time you were in Enjoy, you had a blackout shirt on. Brandon, you remember that?
Yep.
Okay, let's see how fast he looked up because I still have the footage.
He also had
still have it.
Shut up, man. You're right.
Brandon, look, that's how you were. Look, Brandon, look. You like this. You like this. I was like, okay, all right.
Wait till we get to the Rumble discussion. I got something for you. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why you're always trying to start it. You know you can never finish it because always got you. Always got you.
Well, let's hope you just forget and get swept away in this wonderful wrestling conversation. Brian H, let's ring the bell. Let's get this show started. Did anybody hear the bell? I didn't hear it.
Y'all ain't hear it?
I think you got to turn it up on your thingy. Okay, there we go. I heard it. All right. The bell is rung. Gentlemen, what did you watch this week? We had an action-packed week with the Royal Rumble. We had TNA. We had AEW that didn't do so well. There's a lot going on. But to start the show off, let's just get into it briefly because we have a lot to get into, so we're not only seeing until 1 o'clock in the morning. What did you watch, Brian H?
Right now, 2019 Elimination Chamber. And if y'all remember, this is the start of Kofi Mania. This is the match right here where somebody looked great losing and set them up for their biggest WrestleMania moment. Which, shout out to Sir Wilkins. I got to film him interviewing Kofi. And in that process, we both got a chance to thank him for that moment.
No, that was very special.
And then I talked to the New Day, and they had jokes because they thought I said one thing where clearly didn't. But y'all can go to the Ring of Wrestling to see exactly how that all went down.
Brother Hugh, what did you watch this week, sir?
I actually just got into just the Royal Rumble. That's honestly it. I was there, and I came back home, and I watched it like twice. You know, just from a production standpoint or a fan standpoint. You know, I always like to sit back and see how it looks on TV, how it comes across on TV. But I was impressed. So
I'm not gonna lie, I need you to hold that thought because I got something with you, brother Hugh. But I'm gonna come back to you, buddy. But brother Brandon, what did you get into, sir?
So you know, when Championship Culture was doing the network logo, I was trying to figure out which one felt special, and I couldn't remember which one really hit the most. And I went back and watched the match from 2016. Backlash, it was 2016 when Becky Lynch became the SmackDown Women's Champion. And it made me realize Becky never really, she was on that projection. The man took her to the next level, and she's always been the one that we rooted for. Like, no matter what happened, we always rooted for Becky. Like, even when remember when she would lock in the disarmer because that's how she beat Carmella. And it was crazy because you had two brand new faces on SmackDown there, rebuild that division, and Becky was the last horsewoman that was left in NXT that made her way to SmackDown. And that was her, I don't want to say breakout moment, but that was the exclamation point for her. So I was like, you know what? That network logo win probably felt the best because it was the most validated. Okay. Yeah, Finn winning the Universal title, but because it was the red strap, nobody really cared. It was plagued by injury. But then to see her do that, then now to get another title shot for 2 more years later, when she took it from Charlotte, it was like, wow, she really was the fans' favorite. Like, and it was crazy because it's like at the Royal Rumble when she came out, I was like, they're really roaring for her. Like, no matter what, it's always been, we want Becky. So that's what I went back and watched because I was doing some network rewind. So yeah, that was what I watched.
Okay. The crazy part is I went to a crazy awkward. It wasn't awkward, but it was such a different. I went down a Sabu rabbit hole again. Like I feel like I did one last week, and I was like, let me look at some of Sabu's stuff. And the crazy part is some of my favorite matches of his took place in that mid 2005 awkward era of TNA. I think his TNA run's one of his best runs he's ever had. So I got into that, and I got into a whole bunch of Hook stuff. Like I was watching a bunch of Hook matches left and right. But yeah, of course, obviously the Royal Rumble. But speaking of the Royal Rumble, back to you, brother Hugh. Because guess what? For those who are watching, and you don't know what that sound is, that means I got a bone to pick. Brian H created this segment years ago when we first transitioned into a podcast for someone to if you had a bone to pick with something that's going on with each other, whatever the case may be, because this is what we do as brothers. I got a bone to pick with you, brother Hugh. For those that don't know, Brian H. Waters was in the building for the Royal Rumble, but not only was Brian H. Waters in the building for the Royal Rumble, so was brother Hugh Has the Third. He gets there. I don't know what day he left. I don't know what day he arrived. I don't know what day he came back. Now, usually what happens is whoever can't go to the show, this is the rules. It's unspoken rules that Brian H. and I came up with years ago. Like we talking about back in college, we were still in our 20s. Now we're like in our late 20s. Where whoever can't go to the show, you're responsible for making sure that your buddy has enough content to feel like they was at the show. Brother Hugh went to the Royal Rumble. I ain't see no pictures.
Oh, you didn't see no videos. Did the same thing? He didn't respond to a text. He went silent. He went radio silent.
Now there's a span after Brian's done it enough. Like it's not like a big deal no more. This is what he does because he's in the business. So he it's part of his job now. That's what he has to do. He may not always have time for that. And every once in a while he's still courteous enough to send a nugget. If it's something we didn't see, or say, well, shoot, the fella's not gonna see this from a fan perspective. Let me go ahead. Brother Hugh disappears for 4 days. It doesn't say a word. I don't know if he's having fun.
How you think I felt?
I don't know if he's having fun. I don't know if he's enjoying the weather. And I'm just
no, I got one better for you. He FaceTimed me, let me know he got there. Guess what he told me?
What was that?
I gotta go. I'm meeting up with Hollywood. Click.
See, that's what he does. Hollywood, I'm coming. Where are you at, brother?
I said, okay. I was all right.
I said, God dang. And I was saying to myself, I hope he's having fun. The only term I heard from, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna move on because we got a long show. And I swear, I'm trying not to be long-winded, but I can't help it. I was like, only time I heard from Brother Hugh is when I went out of my way to put on Twitter. I started trolling. I was trying to bring some attention to the Wrestling Wrealm account, right before the Rumble. See if I can get some buzz. See if I can get some people just to kind of pay attention to because I was gonna try to like live tweet during the show, but I was like, I would for some reason at PLEs, it's hard for me to like. I'm such a fan. I'm so into what I'm watching. I can't go back and forth. It doesn't work well for me, especially do it the right way. I got to tweet, got to put my name, got to put my hashtag. Like that's how I tweet when I live tweet, let people know that it's four of us, but so, when it's me and my thoughts. So I'm like, let me do. So I post a picture of me in mid-flight, looking out a window.
Right.
Real photos. It just wasn't mine, you know. And I was like, Tampa, what up? Let's do this. The first time I heard from Brother Hugh, I got a text like, bro, stop effing playing. Are you here? Like, what's going on? And mind you, it wasn't for him. I was just trying to get some buzz to the channel so I can be like, yo, you know, see if I can, you know, get some audience. And some people responded to it. He's like, Rihanna, stop playing. Are you here? So I'm like, so the first thing I send the, you know, the gif of Cody Rhodes coming up from the stage at WrestleMania. And then he's like, oh my God. Now at this point, he's excited. I'm like, oh shoot. So then, so I'm like, oh shoot. Like, cause I wasn't trying to troll him, but he the one that he bit first. I was like, oh shoot. He screenshotted the thing and everything. So he goes on there and I'm like, you know, I go back on Twitter and then I post a picture of the airport in Tampa, like the escalator where you go towards the baggage claim.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh my goodness. At this point, I would have probably kept going with it. I wasn't trying to troll Hugh. I was doing this on Twitter. But then Brandon starts tripping. He goes, oh my gosh, am I the only one that's not there? I'm about to cry for real. I was like, oh no. Let me stop. Because I'm so good at this, he's gonna think I'm telling the truth. And the more he starts to bite, the more I was gonna keep going. I was like, no. So then like he's like, I said, bro, I was just trolling, trying to see if I can get some buzz. Hugh immediately sends a middle finger. It's a middle finger to the group. And then Brandon's like, I don't believe you. You're really there. That's the real airport. That's the real back. I'm like, bro, trust me, I'm not there. I wasn't trying to get you guys. I was just trying to see if I can get some buzz. I wasn't expecting you guys to bite first, but
the reason I was in my feelings, remember, Hugh got approved for the press pass. I didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey,
I wasn't gonna say anything, but since you put it out there,
I'm saying it. That's why I was in my one feeling. Because
it was already a touchy subject as it is. And I was like, no. Like once Brandon said what he said, I was like, no. I don't want him to feel like that. Cause I know that was hard. You know what I mean? Like that's because you probably should have got approved and you didn't. So I was like, no, I'm not even about playing like that. That's not funny. I immediately had to abort me. It's like, no, I'm joking, fellas. I was just trying to create some buzz on Twitter. But
if you would have looped me in, I would have fed into it.
I'm definitely not looping you in, Captain Double Turn.
Right. Well, first of all, Dwayne, I do have content. I do have videos and whatnot. I just didn't send them to you or to y'all.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I do have them. I will drop those later.
All right. At least we know it's there because I was looking for it.
When it came,
you said what?
It was the worst stadium with reception.
It was. During the show, we couldn't do anything.
I was trying
to tweet. Wow. I was trying to do it. Yeah, I couldn't do anything until I got back to the hotel like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, like I tried to like post it. I got one video was Jade and Bianca's showdown on Ring of Wrestling TikTok, but after that it was like nothing. I was like, all right, you know what? Yeah, like I'm trying to FaceTime Ariana at when Naomi came out. It's not going through. Then we FaceTime briefly because she was mad. It was great. It was so great. She was mad that Bayley won. She's like, I'm sad. Like, but then after we got cut off, and then the reception was just bad. Like you had to be in a certain area, literally. Like,
okay, well that's fair.
To get reception.
No, I get it. All right. Well, listen, I wanted to make sure he was having fun. Yeah, go ahead.
You ever what was we at the Superstore?
We was at the Superstore, yeah.
Yeah, we at the Superstore. So you put out the tweet. So I don't know if you saw it, P or Krista. Whoever saw it first was like, wait a minute.
Oh no. Did Krista see it?
It was
no.
It was me. It was me. And I showed it to him. I was like, bro.
And I was like, so P was like, oh, he coming? And Chris was like, I know. And so I was
it wasn't meant for y'all, I promise. It was for Twitter.
Whatever. You're like, we ain't on Twitter.
Right, but I didn't think you guys would catch it. I figured you guys were like busy doing stuff.
We was, but you still, and like I said, we out there, we getting content, so we had the, like I said, at the Superstore. So then we was like, oh man, wait a minute. Because we know, like, well, if he get down here, he got enough time because we about to hit this Jabba Tears tailgate. and everything. So whatever, RHODES gonna come to the tailgate. We look, we already started making plans for you.
Bro, I'm glad I stopped then because I would have went too far. So shout out to the guy, brother Brandon, because if it wasn't such a sensitive subject, I was like, nope, it's not funny. That's not going that far, and I stopped. So
y'all just make sure we all.
I was more excited for the.
You said what, Brandon?
I was more excited. I was more excited than the for the arrival of you than the damn show.
And that's what he said though.
I didn't even want to go anymore.
and I was trying to keep it alive without saying nothing to Brother Hugh, but I was like I said, I'm not a jerk. I wasn't trying to like troll my people. I was trying to get other folks in. So, but they were biting. He wouldn't let them go. Even he's like, no, seriously, yo, don't effing play, bro. Like, seriously. I was like, oh shoot. And then Brandon's like, what? I'm the only one out there. I was like, no. Okay, joke's over. I'm done. I wasn't trying to get you guys. I was just trying to get some buzz.
That was funny though.
Yeah.
He was look. Yo, and Brother Hugh talk with his facial expressions.
Yep.
Yeah,
all the facial expressions. Yep.
Well, one, I was glad to hear from you, Brother Hugh. I wasn't sure if he was having fun or anything because you didn't say nothing, but reception was bad.
I apologize.
Nah, it's cool though. And I immediately thought about his road trip to WrestleMania remember the bus trip? Remember he first got on the show and he told that story. Story. His road trip, his hitchhiking to WrestleMania story.
SummerSlam, Nashville.
SummerSlam, yeah, in Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Because
when I gave him the key, he was like, bro. I was like, man, because I was an Undertaker thing, and they made you lock your phone up, so I'm like texting him through my watch, and all this happened. Yeah, I was like, dang.
I was just hoping. I was like, man, I hope he's having fun. I haven't heard nothing. I ain't seen no pictures of no sun, no sky, no arena, nothing, no feel. But like I said, that was my bone to pick with you, brother. I said he ain't put nothing in there. I was like, okay, I'm waiting to see a skyline or something. Nothing. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Shout out to Glenn. We saw Glenn.
Glenn was there.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Okay. How's Glenn doing? I haven't talked to Glenn in a little bit.
He's doing good. He said, he want to come, chop it up on the roam. He want to come to a podcast party.
Oh, we got to get him on. I know we kind of slowed down a little bit, but we definitely got to get him on.
We all took a selfie.
Good.
We saw him like right before the show because like walking past, you see Corey, and so I was like, we talked to him for a little bit. I said, yo, where's Glenn? Because I talked to Glenn last week, and he said he would be there. So the plan was like, all right, we're gonna link up, and he was like, yo, he's over in that section, and then so we ended up meeting up. He told me that Hugh's best friend was there as well.
Random guy?
Subject of WrestleMania 28 trip was there.
Oh, he was.
Holy cow.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
I forgot all about that.
All right.
He told me that yesterday. He said, yeah, man, I seen your boy, and I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, he was down there. He's like, yo, Glenn, I see you, man. Let's take a picture. Yeah.
Hey.
You know what Glenn should have told him?
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you at right now.
How appropriate is that for tonight's show?
Mm-hmm.
We are going off on a tangent. But
yeah, my
I don't
bad.
give a god dang. No, you good. I don't give a god dang is because if Brother Hugh would have just told us if he had fun on the trip, we wouldn't have to discuss this right now. So y'all have to excuse us for you listening. These are the same conversations that go through text messages and phones with the brothers. So y'all just gonna have to go along with. Because trust me, we definitely have one of those shows tonight. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to get the perspective of Brian H. and Brother Hugh because they were there in the building versus the perspective of Brian. Did you get a chance to watch it back yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So you get the perspective of us who watched it live, and then Brother Hugh, who said he went back and he watched it twice on his way back. But gentlemen, let's start with the very beginning. Before we get into the Royal Rumble review, let's just jump into CM Punk. I was about to do the same thing. CM Punk came out on Monday Night Raw. It turns out that he has a torn tricep and he will not be available for WrestleMania. I guess the future shock from Drew McIntyre. Just a freak accident. He's older, hasn't wrestled in a little bit, and this is kind of what happens to the human body every once in a while. CM Punk will not be available for WrestleMania. Gentlemen, does this affect WrestleMania in any way, shape, or form by not having the star power of CM Punk? And this is why I asked, and those in the chat who are chiming in, please give us your 2 cents as well. I asked this is because if CM Punk didn't come back, I don't think we will feel like we're missing anything. But CM Punk's triumphant return to the WWE has been it's gone well so far from a branding standpoint, from a performance standpoint. He doesn't look like he's really missed a step outside of being older and kind of injury prone. But you know what superstar isn't if they've been out for the length of time that he's been out. But just as much as we were excited to finally get this exchange between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, with however they were going to tell this story for us to get there, all of a sudden has been taken away from us. Does that affect WrestleMania this year? Gentlemen, CM Punk torn tricep. What do you guys think? Does this affect WrestleMania?
Sometimes you can get a better situation out of this.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I mean, man, my gosh, Drew McIntyre has not let up one bit.
That's kind of where we're going.
More important, probably the most important he's looked since he was challenging Brock Lesnar. And even if he doesn't beat Rollins, just him looking like a viable contender, not just because he's a big man on the roster, but because he's like legit angry and want that spot. So it affects the main event, but sometimes when things like this happen, sometimes you do get a better replacement, unfortunately. Hopefully it will be a better replacement in the sense that it causes Drew to go to another level. You know what I mean? It does suck for CM Punk. You think about that was his goal, main event WrestleMania, and this would look like it was just like right there. Like you could have put these two in the box and just waited, and and it would have still made sense. But it's just definitely changes it. But I honestly think it might end up changing for the better for all you in-ring graps people out there. I think they'll put on a better match.
Okay, that's definitely one way of looking at it, though. What about you, brother guy? There's I know CM Punk's one of your favorite wrestlers. Does CM Punk have a torn tricep not
his
being
favorite
there?
wrestler.
Oh, my fault. His favorite. Excuse me. Your producer said he is your number one favorite wrestler. Does not having CM Punk available now affect WrestleMania in a negative way?
Hold on, let me turn the light up on my rig because maybe y'all can't see my face.
I mean, we can see it.
Okay.
And I still see the excitement on his face when we mention CM Punk.
I think it just forces him to either revert back to previous plans or shift plans because that's
a good way of looking
at it. In this Triple H era, he's so good at so many main event players, like we stated before. I don't think that we would mind insert anybody at any time because everybody at any moment. Because look at what happened with Gunther. He gets himself face, and we're like, oh, he could get both titles. Like, who said he got to give up the Intercontinental title to get the world title? You know what I mean? Like, it's so many different possibilities that we're all confused. And we're like, well, not having CM Punk, does it really hurt us now? Because we didn't know we wanted him till Triple H gave him to us. He gave him to us, and now he's gone. We're like, okay, so what's next then? So we know, and Triple H we trust is going to be something decent. So
no, that's actually a really good point because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, Triple H has done such a great job with building contenders, not just one guy. Like I think he perfected it more than Vince ever did. Austin
I think it
talked
hurts
about that.
The perf. I think it affects Elimination Chamber more than it does WrestleMania.
Okay, fair enough.
Because that might have. I think he was one of the main marquees for.
Yeah, he was the main attraction.
Seller points for Elimination Chamber. Sure. So I think it hurts that a whole because think about it now. Those people have missed out on CM Punk.
Yeah,
think about they waited so long. Oh my God, we're getting them. So I hope that he at least can fly there and at least do something because I would hate and I feel bad because we're so saturated with wrestling in the United States that I'm happy that they're going over here because these people are getting to see the people that we're taking for granted. We can at least see them once out of 52 weeks. Or if we drive close enough to somewhere, any week of the year, we can see them. They getting it once every 5, 10, 20 years, So, yeah, and I feel bad. Like that's the fans I feel bad for that they don't get to see it. And I hope that they can do something with him because, even when they went to Japan, and I think wasn't Finn Balor hurt the one time, but he still went and made an appearance. I hope that he can at least make an appearance there for them, just for the sake of we don't have to wait another 5 years or whatever. We've been waiting this long. So that's the only thing I'm sad for those fans.
Sure, fair enough. Brother Hugh, does this affect WrestleMania in any way to you, not having CM Punk on the show?
To me personally, I would say yes, because I was actually looking forward to seeing CM Punk versus Rollins.
Yeah, me too.
I just felt like it was going to be there. That's the storyline was there already, set it up, and this goes back to what I said before when CM Punk first came back. I would have liked for them to push him right away instead of waiting. So push him right into the main event because of something like this. I knew he was injury prone. You never knew about his attitude. You don't know what type of attitude he had coming in back to the WWE.
You got to strike while iron is hot.
Yeah. So
yeah,
just go with it. Just go with it. But to be honest, for the same reasons that Brandon has said, like there's so many options out there right now.
Yeah.
And what if he wasn't here? What if he never showed up? You still have those same options that you had before. So it's like just insert the next person. I hate to say it that way, but
no, it is what it is though. That's the business, right? Yeah. So
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, something to say, Brian H. Or
no, I was just saying it's the business and the
that's true.
No Booker T.
But see, that's the thing though. It's I think Drew McIntyre is ready. Like, and it's crazy because it's like it's good if he was kind of been like lurking around these stories. He's in multiple storylines right now. And it's like just because this is the one thing that Triple H has done very well is like just because CM Punk showed up, somebody didn't have to take a back seat. He just had to pivot. Right. And with a show like Raw
every week, like he would have been in AEW that every week we had to see him. Then it was like, oh, he's hurt. No, you don't.
And then it would have got stale because you overused these familiar faces. But I think the way they went about it was smart. I think Drew's up next, man. I think it's his time. I think if it's look, Seth Rollins is half banged up. CM Punk is out. Like, I think this might be.
Do you want to see that again?
You said what?
Do you want to see that again? Drew and Seth? Or even Cody and Seth? Cody and Seth. Do you want to see that again?
No, I mean, as much as I would like to, I think it's more. I think why not get Drew going? Like Drew's already there. He's already at the top of here. They still owe him one. Like don't get it twisted. And to me, it's like the perfect scenario. Well, shoot, we already owe you one. You're already right here. You're kind of already involved in the story as it is. Like, let's just roll with what's in front of us. That way you get your win that you deserve. You know, they may not cheer for you. They'll probably boo you. But,
that's just as good as cheers.
That's the truth. You know, that
Let me
reaction.
Ask you this, though. Elimination Chamber.
Shout out to that undisputed championship you had behind you. That thing is massive. I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's, like when I got it, I was like, it's one of my favorites.
That was discussed last night on Championship Culture, season 2, episode 2.
Yeah, but
that same belt.
Complete too.
Now, is that the first version you bought, or is that the new version?
No, it's the new one.
Culture episode 2.
Oh, that's the new one. When did you get that?
Well, it's the only one I bought, but you haven't seen this one? It was 20. When did I get it, Brandon? 2021, right?
Yeah.
Or 2?
No, I have not seen that.
Because remember, I looked at it and I fanboyed out because I didn't want to touch mine anymore. I wanted to keep yours.
The new one, that's okay.
Because it's the thicker plates too.
Yeah,
I need to make a trip to Mama's house because I still need to drop off the kids' Christmas cards. I still have those, so we'll kill two birds with one stone. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt your thoughts, sir.
And just pick the belt up and hold it hostage for a while. Just hold it in the background.
But so with Drew, right? Elimination Chamber's coming up. Is it a bad idea for him to win the title in Perth? Would that be a satisfaction? You know, he's not from here necessarily, and I know he's not from Perth, but would it be a satisfaction for him to win the championship, say in the Elimination Chamber, in front of a real crowd?
The only reason I'm not sure about that necessarily is because I don't know how Seth is going to hold up to WrestleMania. So think about it. If Seth loses the title in Perth at Elimination Chamber, where's the draw at WrestleMania?
I'm gonna do Shawn Michaels. I'm gonna Shawn Michaels and give him his rematch and get him his second title run at WrestleMania.
I don't mind it, but I don't know how healthy he is, so it's hard for me to like to agree to something like that. Cause I'm like, well, is he? Because one week he was like, I'm done. Next week I'm like, well, he looks okay. I don't know to the level of
Yeah, that's true.
How you know what I mean? So it's like if he only has one match left in him, because like he might be like, I'm looking at it like from Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 14. Like he got hurt Royal Rumble 98, and he was like, I just got to get all the way to Mania, and he had that one match in him. He said, you know what I mean? Triple H.
He still didn't want to drop the title. Undertaker was about ready to come.
We're bringing up a lot of old school realm conversations, because this is conversations we had once again almost 10, 11, 12 years ago. We were like, look, Shawn Michaels had to just he had one goal. Let me make it to Mania. So like he rehabbed Brian H. and I used to talk about how Triple H used to work those matches with Bret Hart on the road up to that point, because Shawn wasn't available. You know, usually they do the house shows to preview what it may look like. You know what I mean? But it was like he was working everybody that Shawn was supposed to work, because you know, Shawn literally all he could do was try to rehab just to get to that match. So I'm looking at it on the same level as that with Seth Rollins, because I don't know to the legitimate extent of his injury. True. I'm like, well, if he only has one match, I don't want to say wasted at Elimination Chamber, but it's like, hey, let's save it for as long as we can, so we can at least get to Mania. If he's just going to have that one match, like if he's going to put his knee on the line before surgery or rehab, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm like, you know, to me, it's not about Drew in that moment. It's just more about what is Seth going to be able to do. So that's why I say at least Mania, he can be a heel. He can think about it. Seth Rollins can lose and be the ultimate babyface, because people are going to feel bad for him. Like
McIntyre's supposed to put the babyface over.
Well,
that won the Royal Rumble.
But see, but is he going to give him a good match though?
Who, him and Cody?
Yeah. He's injured. Like he's hurt. Like I don't like. What can he do? What can he do? Think about it. And this is the last thing I'm saying, because we got to move on. You keep trying to get people down these rabbit holes. Here's what I'm saying. Think about it this way. If Seth Rollins is hurt, Drew McIntyre can target that knee the entire night.
That's true, because he's a heel.
Seth will go out looking like a hero, and Drew will go out looking like the most evil person in the world, because this guy's purposely like, I'm going to have my moment. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. There's nothing you can do about it. So even if Seth Rollins loses, you can say, well, shoot. So everybody knew his knee was banged up, and everybody knew Drew McIntyre targeted his knee. Like he's just, you know what I mean? And then Seth Rollins could get up, crying, limping, and everybody's going to go crazy for him. And then he's going to go away, rehab, surgery, whatever he has to do. He's going to come back even bigger than he was before. You know what I mean? Like nobody loses that way. Versus if Cody Rhodes decides to wrestle Seth Rollins, he's not 100%. Cody Rhodes loses in that way, because now his belt looks like it's second tier now, because Seth Rollins can't even give him the match that he needs to help elevate him, because he's hurt. And Cody's not going to work heel. He's not going to attack his knee and do all the stuff. Like they don't both mutually benefit from that. That's just, you know, my thinking. But
no, that's true. That's a good point.
And then he validates everything that Seth said if he chooses him, because then he's going to validate what the value of Roman's belt is. He just devalued it by choosing him. And then if you think about it, when Cody wrestled Seth, when he's not 100, it was Cody's choice to go into the chamber with a busted chest. Because he said, I'm sorry, I said chamber Seth. It was his choice, and he was the hero. And I'm going to do this because I really got to go prove this point. Just like with my broken arm, I went and fought Brock Lesnar. You know, but now if I do the same thing to this guy, I look like the bad guy, and it pushes Cody over the top. It pushes Seth over the top. And brothers, just to take a break, the gentleman that helped make Championship Culture Season 2, Episode 2 so successful just joined the comments. I got his whole name in there. Good evening, Ben Walker. Just wanted to shout him out. I know. He swears that's my uncle.
That's
he swears that's my uncle. He saw the picture. He said, "Is that your uncle?"
When he did the promo for Season 1. Night. He's like, you know, they were talking about the WWF and the WWE block logos, and they were talking about, you know, how the brand is like, am I wrong for not wanting to get the WWE versions? Because once again, Brian, these are all like old school realm conversations. And we were like, no, you got to get the WWF. And he was like, you know, we're showing our age. He's like, well, me, you know, I kind of got all this gray, so. So I'm laughing. He's like, that's uncle on his uncle comment. But let's kick off our shoes for a little bit. And this has got to be the bulk of the show, because hopefully we can get this done. The Royal Rumble show overall, brothers. What did you guys think of the show? People in the comments, tell me what you thought of the Royal Rumble. Do you guys mind if I go first? You guys were there.
Yeah,
go on.
I watched it from television, and I said television on purpose. This has got to be the most least exciting Royal Rumbles for me. And it's because I'm conditioned for it to be the big circus, the big show. To me, the last major Royal Rumble for me was like 2020, as far as a spectacle was concerned, right? Okay. Star power, surprises, it's going to take some time for me to get used to Triple H's utilization of the Royal Rumble. And you know what I mean? And I was like, bro, this is boring. Like, I was bored because he's using the Royal Rumble to like further storylines and get guys familiar. Now, that may look different a year from now because of this method. It's because it worked with the women. Last year's Royal Rumble, he introduced so many new faces, and I was like, I don't know who none of these ladies are. But this year, the women's Rumble was better than the men's Rumble. And I was like, okay, I kind of get what he did because now I'm familiar with it. It didn't matter who it was. At least now I was familiar with them in some way, shape, or form. Like he took a whole year and said, okay, all these women that I put in this Rumble, by next year, you're going to be familiar with who you are. And I was. And I was like, man, and I don't even got to be faithful followers of
Well, let me correct you on that. Last year, he used his talent. He didn't go outside. He didn't give us those. He used his talent last year. This year, he just showcased them so that way we understood better. Because he said, "No, I got a whole roster. I have to use them."
And that's what Bayley said. Bayley said the same thing. Bayley's like, "That's why I wasn't." She literally said, "That's why there's no legends here. Like we have so many talented women." And I was like, "Well, she kind of has a point." And but I'm watching the men's. The matches were good. The Fatal 4-Way between Roman and AJ and LA Knight and Randy Orton was fun. I enjoyed that. Kevin Owens and Logan Paul was fun. I like the finish, man. Logan Paul's going to drive Kevin Owens crazy, and
that was so brilliant.
That was such a clever and this is they got rid of Kevin Dunn and he has so much more fluidity. He got so much more fluidity and like they're trying new things out. Even just and this is production stuff, Brian H. I told today's going to be a callback show. The angle they used to show Kevin Owens pinning and the referee looking up, it made so much sense when he goes 1, 2, looked up and goes, dude, you got brass knuckles on your hands. And I was like, I was watching like, oh no, Kevin, you ain't tossed the knuckles, bro. Like he got so mad, you punch him in the face, and then you just went for the pin because your wrestling instincts went in, and you were just like, but then the angle of the camera saw it as well as the referee when he looked up. It was like, yo, you have brass knuckles. They called the match, and I was like, this Logan Paul character escaped with his teeth. That was fine too. But this men's Rumble, I was like, bro, this thing is falling. Like I'm just sitting there waiting for this excitement. I'm like, because I'm so programmed. It's because the way the previous regime used to do it, everything was about the spectacle. Like I said, it's the greatest show on earth. It's Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bayley. Like it's whatever they're gonna make the crowd pop. It's experience. Like whoever goes to the Rumble, they expect these moments to happen. Versus now, it's a little different. It felt kind of flat to me though. But what did you guys think? Anybody just jump in? We gotta have this conversation because people. I want to know. Look, hold on. I gotta see the comments because people are saying stuff in the comments. But go ahead. Anybody jump in? What did you guys think of the Royal Rumble this year overall? Just the overall show.
Well, I'm gonna say this about the men's. I felt like I was watching, and Brian, what year was it the greatest Royal Rumble when they had it over in Saudi?
I want to say 18 or 17. I don't know the exact year, but I know what you're talking about.
Remember, I just felt like it was just there because it was checking off a box to say it did something. And it's no discredit to the talent, but it was. And I had this discussion with Hugh. I hate when Rumble entrants, you can tell, have no stake in winning the Rumble. And when I say that, like, you put people in it, it was all like mid cards at one point, like to the point, and I'm not discrediting Ricochet, any of his accolades. But when Ricochet, I was like, oh, okay, he's back. You know what I mean? Like it didn't.
It was so random. We haven't seen Ricochet in forever, and he just pops up the Rumble like late in the show. Like, why don't you start off with Ricochet?
Yeah, and it was like, okay, here's Braun Breaker, and it was like, okay, Omos is back. Yep. Ain't seen him. What is he? Okay, and it kind of felt like it was just I'm getting to who's going to be the final 4, the last 6. Like, just get me to that point because the first up to like 15 when Cody came, it was like, okay, we popped a little. Like 1 and 2 was cool because we know what that's foreshadowing. But then it was like everything else after that was like, yep, okay. And then I said this when Punk was wrestling, he looked like he was winded. But now
Bro, I
knowing that
said
he
the
was
same
hurt,
thing. We was making
No.
fun
I
of
was
him. We
like,
was calling him all
he's
types
hurt.
of old.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he ain't in. That's what I said. That's what they be talking about. Not in ring shape. I then come to find out he's hurt. He probably was fighting through the pain.
Yeah.
But and then this whole speculation of audible was called or whatever it may be. Even if it was like the men's that should have went on first because Bayley now has punched her ticket to be what we know Bayley can be, and had the press conference solidified what everybody was thinking. Because when Triple H made that comment about, she's the one that's been putting over people, she's been doing the jobs, she's been doing all this, now it's her time. I'm like,
and she had to get healthy. Remember, she came back at SummerSlam, and we were like, she didn't wrestle right away. She was doing a lot of managing with damage control.
And I'll tell you the thing I loved about the women one, we had the right amount of women to tell that story. Chelsea Green was like the MVP. We can all talk about Naomi, and I'm gonna embarrass you because when the sirens hit and it dawned on me, I said, "Oh, that's really Jordan Grace." I FaceTime somebody who every time I FaceTime him, he picks up because he knows it's amazing, and I had that same look. I know you remember that moment, don't you, Realness?
Oh, I did. I was
we were in complete shock, like holy,
that
wow.
was
holy. That's the kind of surprise that we needed, not 10 women from WWE previous years. I don't want to say past because it sounds like they're old, and I don't want to ever attach that to the women's wrestlers because I know once they get to a certain age, it feels like they shouldn't be wrestling. But there wasn't any legends, and it was like to have a Jordan Grace, and for her to have the showing that she had, and her and Trinity, Triple H, I didn't sugarcoat it, didn't act like it didn't exist, but for you to show that moment, I think that was more for the wrestlers than it was for us.
No doubt. We're going to get into some of those surprises, and we'll start with the Women's Rumble. But let's ask the guys that were actually there in the building. What did you guys think about that? Now, you talked to two gentlemen that watched it live, from the comfort of our own spaces. You guys are in the building, and usually any live show is always better than when you watching at home. I've gone to RHODES, and I say, man, this is one of the best ever. And I watched back on TV, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was kind of random. But you have fun at live events, and this is one of the biggest ones of the year. What did you guys think of the Royal Rumble actually being there, Brian? As you actually are working the event, brother, here, did you go to the media, to the media scrum?
No, we didn't.
Okay,
talking about after the show.
Okay, Realm After Dark. Right. Anyways, what did you guys think about the Royal Rumble this year being? I know Brother Hugh had said he was happy to be there, especially at another ballpark. Brian H and Brother Hugh are avid baseball fans, and they have this bucket list of trying to go to as many stadiums as possible before it's all said and done, which is extremely dope, and I know they're happy about that. But what do you guys think about the Royal Rumble actually actually being there this year?
I enjoyed the overall show. I enjoyed this year's better than last year's, and it wasn't that I didn't enjoy last year's because I did. I don't know. Just the vibes was different. Felt brighter.
Okay.
Tampa's obviously a better city than San Antonio, by the way.
But I guess especially.
Huh?
Say especially. Hold on, you said better than San Antonio?
Yeah. San Antonio was
really
boring.
I thought San Antonio was supposed to be hip and young and hipsters. Was that Austin?
Austin and Houston.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and Dallas is lit. But I enjoyed it. I think I came to this conclusion. I think a lot of times pro wrestler fans, we overthink the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's a celebration. Everybody, get to see all the favorite wrestlers. We all know we've been watching wrestling long enough that there's certain things in pro wrestling that we can kind of jump back and put our kayfabe hat on, like Roman versus Cody, right? For instance, I'll use that example. You can sit back, you can watch that match when it's happening, and really just hone in if you're going to root for Cody or you're going to root for Roman, right? Then you have matches such as the Royal Rumble where like Money in the Bank, you can kind of do that because they usually take the top people, even though most of the time it's kind of like, all right, you got this person probably gonna win, but this person could be the surprise. Royal Rumble, we know usually 3 to 5 people.
Sure.
Some years 1 to 2. Like this one, to me, it was gonna be I actually thought it was gonna be Punk, but it was gonna be one of them. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times with wrestler fans, we forget that that part, and it's hard not to think of it like that. So like I just look at it like it's a showcase where I can see a bunch of my favorite wrestlers or wrestlers that I'm looking at, or see who's up next. And I tend to, like you said, Triple H is reprogramming. I tend to watch the stories now as opposed to who's going to win the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like there were so many. Now I agree. I enjoyed the women's Rumble way more than the men's.
I think that's a general consensus.
Yeah, and I think because the men's Rumble, it was like, wow, oh, they main eventing the show, which it should in most cases. Last year, the bigger story was obviously Roman and everything that happened with Sami Zayn.
Sure.
And the men's Rumble opened last year. So when Roman's match was second, I'm like, whoa.
I was confused too.
And I'm hoping, I'm hoping, like, man, is The Rock gonna come out? Because so I saw that and I said, all right. And then we know it was like, oh yeah, it was second because Roman had to get cleaned up, get to the skybox so Cody could point. But I look at it like it did feel like it dragged a lot more, where the women kind of felt like it was just, and maybe because
they had more surprises.
More surprises. Naomi, Jade, Jordan Grace, getting to see the pose down. Now it's like, because it's like, okay, was Bianca and Jade gonna beef? Are they gonna team up? Jade telling people, me and Bianca gonna make magic together, whether it's together or separate, or against each other. So it's like so much. But I think a lot of times it's just like, you don't have to overthink it. It's just it's like it should be fun. It's a fun way to get ready to get into WrestleMania season. That's how I look at it. So that was my perspective. The it's and and that's pretty much my thoughts on that part.
Okay, well that's definitely a different perspective. It's you sound like you've already kind of adjusting to the way the kind of the process.
You know what it was? I realized this is what it was. That's one point I forgot. My bad. Royal Rumbles for me personally don't always. Royal Rumbles and Survivor Series aren't easy to watch back the way a WrestleMania is or SummerSlam is, because they're these bigger showcase matches that with Survivor Series, you really got to know the story, because you're not really going to get like a 5-star match. It's more about the 5-star story. And this is the reason why these people are together, right? Like the year when NXT, it's so much fun because one, it hasn't been done since, but it was also like, you got to see essentially some of your favorite indie wrestlers who had made it to WWE, mix it in with some of your homegrown WWE people, right? But then you go back with the old Royal Rumbles. Sometimes it's fun because you can put yourself maybe in that situation. Like I could watch the 92 Rumble because I could think about it from when I was a child. I could watch the 95 or 96 because of the controversy. But most of the time, I found myself watching beginning and the end with the like the last 10 minutes. So that's the reason why I was like, oh, it don't age well.
No, that's true. That's how I feel about when I try to watch early ones. I try to dig into that early 90s rabbit hole with you, buddy, but I just can't. I'm like, nah, it doesn't hold up to me.
They got WrestleMania 9.
No, that's not happening. I'm tired of seeing wrestling. I've had so many WWE magazines with them outside in a parking lot like it was freaking circus.
Did you see that poster though? Somebody tagged me. Shout out to Wells Mania. They was like, man, I know you're gonna get this. I said, man, I got to. Jonathan Bartlett did it. Shout out to him. It's gorgeous.
It's kind of a new classic, as I call it.
Yeah, but his WrestleMania 15 one is lit too.
No, it is. That joint's definitely dope. No doubt. Brother Hugh, you were there, even though you didn't put any pictures in the group or let nobody know you was having fun. What did you think of the show, buddy? Live show, Royal Rumble. Did it drag to you? Brownies gave a very different perspective, which is unique. And I'm like, okay, well, that also does make sense. But what say you, brother?
I was kind of in a weird space.
Okay.
When trying to experience that show, because I wanted to go there and just basically be a fan, but I was actually there to work too, so I was in a tough position. But overall, I enjoyed the show because it was my first. The Royal Rumble matches, they seemed longer than I expected. For sure. I definitely did. I enjoyed the women's for the same reasons that Brian said. The storylines was there. I saw a lot of potential matchups that I would love to see. Even going more in depth with it, Jordan Grace, she showed up, and I'm looking like, well, are we gonna get some more cross promotional matches? Like Jordan Grace looked good. That Jordan Grace Bianca Belair match might be kind of fire. Like, what's going on? You know, can we get Naomi and Jordan Grace again, but on WWE soil? Like, what's can we get something good? But the spots were good in the women's match. They were great, especially the one with Tiffany Stratton pulling Bianca's hair. That was gold. Overall, I mean, Bayley winning it, that was awesome. That was awesome. It was just that's the only story you could on it to me. That's the only thing that made sense though. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
To be honest.
Because you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it makes sense because if you look at the little things that were going on between her and Damage Control, if you notice throughout the last couple of weeks or last couple of shows, you know, she's going for high fives and Damage Control kind of
sideways. Especially Oscar, they go like this and just. I was like, there we go. That
and they was doing that. Yep, they was doing all throughout the match, and then
remember I said it back in Survivor Series when they did what you call it, how Bayley was taking all of the pins, she was saving everybody, she was taking all the damage.
You did say that.
Yeah, I said that this is Bayley's gonna have a big moment, and I called her. I said she was my pick to win the Rumble. I'm glad. First off, was the crowd really cheering for her the whole time from start to finish?
Yes.
It seemed like no matter what she did, they kept just saying Bayley, no matter what happened. It was like, am I hearing this correctly? Are they still cheering for her?
Did y'all watch her bop to her music though?
Yeah.
Pay attention. Bayley be
she be going off
plays too much.
This is the evolution of Bayley. She said it. This is her. This is if you like this version of me, just keep cheering for me.
Yeah, she definitely said that. And shout out to
one of my favorites.
Shout out to Brother Brandon, the Digital Media Impact Championship and the penny belt championship. And then it's the 6-man title behind him. Yep. 6-man title behind him. Thought nobody noticed.
This is the tag team.
That's the tag. No, I'm not talking about the tag team. That's the tag team title, and the other one's the world title. But
hold up, I'm glad you brought that up. What? I just gotta ask y'all this about AEW. So the Gun Club reunited with their father, who still like they didn't combine the Gun Club and the Scissor
Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
The Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
They need to stop. I feel like
Tony Khan has lost his mind. People cannot be their self now. Factions can't be by their self. He was nobody by their self.
They have limited TV time, and they got to make it happen.
The Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
That is it.
Because remember I told you I woke up in the middle and they was watching Collision, and they was called. I said they really called themselves the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
When I heard it, I thought you guys were joking, and I was like, "No, this can't be real."
But nobody can be by themselves at AEW.
It's limited
all
TV
elite.
time.
Ain't nobody elite. Ain't nobody.
I didn't mean to take off the show because we gotta go to Rome after dark. I just saw it, but when I saw that, I'm like, we you know, everybody we watching it while we doing fan club, and I'm like confused. So Ciendo like breaks it down, and I'm like, bro, Jay White, you just 2 weeks, bro. You just had to wait 2 weeks.
Just give me my Jay White action figure, please.
He could have been facing Seth Rollins.
He's an idiot. He should have just waited. Exactly. He should have just waited.
Yeah,
especially now that they've word got out that Okada's Pro Wrestling T store has been notified he has to shut down. You know what that sounds like.
I don't know how
that sounds like speculation. That sounds like speculation.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Because AEW and TNA have worked relationships with Pro Wrestling Tees, but there's another company that doesn't. But back to the Women's Rumble. Let's just talk about some of the surprises they had. It's obvious that we all enjoyed the Women's Rumble. My question is, first, one, I want you guys to think about this because I need you guys' expertise. Do you think Triple H did this on purpose? Because to me, there was a level of effort that I felt like I saw in the Women's Rumble that I didn't get from the Men's Rumble. And let's also talk about some of the surprises in the Women's Rumble. Let's start with the first one we got was Naomi returning. She came in with the same number as her husband, as in number 2, and she made her triumphant return to the WWE, which was kind of, cat was kind of out of the bag. And part of the other surprise is that she brought some company with her, even if it was just for one night. But we'll start with Naomi. The fans really responded well to Naomi. I'm sure you guys were there. It was very genuine. Go ahead, Brandon.
It felt like it was a normal thing at first. Like the music hits, it's familiar. So you hear I'm amazing, and it's like, yeah, wait a minute, oh shoot. Like it was like one of them type of moments, right? And I remember sitting there thinking like because like I said, you used to it, and it didn't dawn on me till like the music like really settled in, and then she came out that it was a return, not a normal thing. That was the difference.
Sure.
No, I was wondering if Brother Hugh felt the same way.
Brother Hugh, did you feel the same way?
And man, it felt that way when I saw her face, and she was bursting out basically in tears. Like they showed it on the Titan, well, not the Titan.
Yeah, she had a hard time putting it together.
Yeah, she was struggling, but she pulled it together. But yeah, it just felt like it felt huge to me because I mean, it first of all, that was the first time I remember seeing.
Why do you keep getting the thumbs up?
Right,
what's the thumbs up?
Yeah, I think bubbles every show now. Just to
I had bubbles on mine last night. But I had
that's on my side.
Balloons.
You had balloons last night.
Yours every time. There's random thumbs up bubble. I think like nah, whatever you're saying is always good stuff. You keep getting thumbs up.
It's a reaction, right? But I don't know. I know that happened to Crystal B like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know because that literally happened last night with him with the balloons. I was like, okay, he having a party by himself. Okay,
it's this random balloon. They're listening to us. If you get the WWE steal ideas from us, that means they're giving you thumbs up, brother, because they approve of what you're saying.
Hey,
but
I'll take
she wasn't.
It wouldn't be the first time. It would not be the first time.
Yeah, no lie.
Right.
She wasn't the only one that was a big surprise. We talked about it. Jordan Grace showing up. TNA. Are they considered knockouts, or do they call themselves knockout champions?
Yeah, they're still they're knockouts still.
TNA wrestling knockouts champion Jordan Grace shows up, which was the shock. The only reason I knew who it was is because I was watching and I saw her name go at the bottom of the LED screen on the ring apron, and I was like, and it didn't hit me, and I was like, Jordan Grace. I was like, no, and then I looked up and I was like, oh snap, with that beautiful TNA Women's Championship title, and I was like, yo, this is really going down. And Jordan Grace really showed up, and I don't know what you guys think, but she had amazing chemistry with every woman she was in the ring with, and I was like, oh yeah, she belongs in here with them. I was shocked. That's the best I've seen of Jordan Grace, not because of what she can and can't do, it's just because of the caliber of the competition she was in the ring with. It looked like a big deal. Like she was used to wrestling like people on her level, but like she was in there with like the established brands, the Natalias, the Biancas, and I was like, yo, she has chemistry with everybody. She looked like she belonged. Were you guys shocked to see Jordan Grace show up in this year's Royal Rumble, and then later on, even more shocked to find out that Triple H called Scott D'Amore like, hey, listen, do you think she'd be interested in being a part of our Women's Royal Rumble this year?
I was shocked because
go ahead.
No, I was only shocked because if you really think about it, she has no ties to WWE outside of that picture. That probably means more that she posted on Twitter. Well, I'm sorry, X a couple weeks ago. Remember when it was her and Naomi? I mean, not her and Naomi, hers, Mercedes and Bayley. You know what I mean? Like that could have been the go down there and see if she wants to come here. See if she can run through for us. He could have sent them, you know what I mean? He could have sent Bayley, and especially with Naomi coming back, she said, come on, come get this exposure, because it was so crazy that the tweet came out. Congratulations, Jordan Grace competing in the Women's Royal Rumble. Tune in every Thursday to TNA. It was like, yep, go ahead and plug your work. And she has no ties. Like, what connection could you make to Jordan Grace for WWE? Outside of her just being their top champion in that division. And as far as her
worked on the indies, I said just people she worked on the indies.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, how somebody like Deonna Purrazzo was in WWE at one point. So it was like, okay, those two are arguably the two biggest names out of TNA in the last 5 to 10 years that weren't other places that came there. You know what I mean? Like, they established that name there. So to see that and to give her that chance and for her to shine, I was happy that she had on the colors of TNA, but also
Of course.
the way that they paced the Rumble. Like I was kind of like, why's Natalya starting? And I said, oh, she's starting because of Naomi. And then it was like everything.
General.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they needed somebody that could, okay, who's safe, and who's going to be able to help these women. And honestly, I hope that we get another program out of Jordan Grace. Or I told you, somebody from the WWE needs to go down there to TNA now.
Nettie said she wants to.
You see that comment right there?
You know it's going to be
definitely
Natalya.
That conversation, Brandon.
You know it's Natalya. If anybody goes down, it's going to be a vet like Natalya.
And isn't that who I said, Brandon? Isn't that who I said, Brandon?
You did. You did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were going back and forth for a while. So
I had a different take because I said the star power. Because all right, so here's my problem. I'm gonna go on a rant for a second. AEW relationship with TNA was all one-sided. AEW's relationship with New Japan is half and half. You win some, I win some. We put over each other's talent. It's not you're going to bring this person over and I'm only going to expose them to make myself look good.
Right.
But in this instance, we knew that the knockout champion wasn't going to win, but she had a good showing. So why not send another star down there to say, hey, who has the most going on right now that could capture that audience as well and still give them more exposure and create more buzz?
So who was your pick? He's dancing. He's dancing around. Who would you say?
Natalya. I said Symbionka.
No, see, you can't do that.
No,
you cannot do that,
bro.
She's that big of a superstar. She will overshadow the entire show.
No, she wouldn't.
Thank you.
Yes, she would.
Be the biggest star on the show.
That's Black John Cena.
She has a TV show, right?
No, it's going to be
all
on
the
about
red
her.
carpet, right?
It's going to be.
That's the reason why you don't send her to TNA.
But you had her and Jordan had that last. She eliminated her. Why not continue that story?
You can't.
Because that's what you want to see.
Think about it.
That's what you want to see.
You can't send somebody that big.
But listen, I said send her there, right? And then they can finish the story in WWE. But you gotta. We want to see that. Well, I want to see that now.
No,
doesn't need it. Jordan needs it.
Yeah, like
exactly, and that's how you pay back TNA for allowing her to come back.
Why are you paying back TNA when WWE did TNA the solid? Like TNA doesn't WWE didn't need TNA. Like they weren't begging her to be there. They did them a solid. That's like think about it. Think about the partnerships of the 90s when Sabu and RVD used to come up in the mid 90s and do Monday Night Raw and stuff like that. Who did they send down there to work with ECW? It was Jerry King Lawler. Now, Jerry King Lawler was a legend in his own right. Now, on WWF, on that stage, he was just a commentator. But in their arena, Jerry Lawler was a Hall of Famer, and that's how that's how Paul Heyman made sure that he was booked. So he was always going after the top guys, and it was big deals. Like he would draw big numbers for ECW because he was Jerry Lawler, the wrestler. Same thing with Terry Funk. When Terry Funk was in WWF, he was just partnering with Mick Foley every once in a while. But in ECW's arena, he was Terry Funk, the legend, and he was their world champion, and he put over guys. And they still talk about Terry Funk being a crucial part of ECW's history. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it would be nice, but that's too big. Like that's too big of a superstar because she's.
So you want me to finish all my points?
You said
she's too big of a superstar. I think she's the perfect superstar if they wanted to keep that working relationship. Because remember, like you just said, Vince will allow these people, right? And that's how he not only, I don't want to say brought these companies, but became silent partners to help those companies flourish so his could still flourish. Because right now,
you didn't send them to flourish, though.
Hey, no, hear me out. AEW had a working relationship with New Japan, right? But wound up poaching all their stars, right?
Okay.
New Japan didn't benefit at all, right? They actually lost in the long run, right?
Sure.
If there's a working relationship or a backdoor partnership about to happen, right? Who was at the TKO announcement / merger thing that they had? Who was there?
I don't know.
Who was holding that TKO belt? Who was holding that TKO belt when they announced this is the name?
Are you talking about Bianca?
He's talking about Bianca, yeah.
Who has a TV show?
Bianca. That's all the reasons why you. That's all the reasons why you can't send her down there. You have to send a vet down there with them, like because think about it. She's that big of a superstar. You can't she's going to overshadow the entire, including the men. Like that's not what that.
No, what I'm trying.
All
right, y'all not trying to hear me. Y'all keep stopping me. I'm gonna just let it go.
You're making the partnership seem like it's supposed to be equal, and the partnerships have
no,
never
I'm
been
not.
equal.
I'm saying it's going to help. That's going to help TNA because guess what? WWE has a vested interest of a TNA being successful, don't they?
No, that's what I'm trying to say though. We don't.
No, what I'm saying, what better way to help TNA because AEW is number 2, right? If TNA can come up to be number 2, it will help WWE flourish.
But you fight the fight. You fighting the fight that's not what WWE's there to do though. Like WWE's their goal is not to help TNA flourish. Let's call a spade a spade. You know why Jordan Grace was in the Royal Rumble. Like let's tell the truth. That was an audition. And they said,
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, from a business standpoint.
But from a business standpoint,
it helps TNA 100%.
TNA, you gotta that may be true if we knew TNA's business objective, but I don't think that's their goal, to be honest with you. Because think about it, everybody goes to TNA during their layover flight, right? The Good Brothers, they're there, and it's like think about it, everybody's there on short-term contracts. They don't sign nobody for years. Like once they get there, and they only did the same thing. So if you need somewhere to work outside of WWE, you know what they're gonna say? You go to TNA, go to New Japan, you're good. You go to AEW, you're gonna get stuck there. AEW is the only one trying to sign people to long-term deals, trying to compete with WWE. I think Scott D. Moore is just trying to say, look, I just need a few names to help build my product so we can keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like. I don't think it looks like they're trying to make them flourish. Because like I said, think about it. Why did Vince give ECW $500,000 to stay afloat? It wasn't to compete with WCW. It was to
fuel his brand. Yeah, it was to fuel him. It helped him in the long run, just like he did it with Evolve. All these other.
But he didn't send Bret Hart.
No,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he didn't send one of the. He sent someone that was big enough for them, not big enough to. Bret Hart goes to ECW, you're gonna forget about the whole goddamn show. It's all about Bret Hart.
That's not what I'm saying. Y'all missing the whole point. I'm saying the figure here, the WWE is who?
It's Bianca.
What do you mean, like Triple H?
No, she's the figure. She is the right now in the space that she is. When you think about WWE, you can't have a conversation without saying Bianca Belair.
Sure,
let's call
course.
it what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the Women's Rumble, where they had the most attention, right? The TNA Knockout Champion was eliminated by the figurehead of WWE. If Bianca makes an appearance in TNA, that's going to create the buzz to help them keep going. And then if she comes back later on and Jordan Grace wrestles her, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say send her down there and she's going to do 6 months worth of stint to get injured. Y'all going? I'm just saying the simple fact is, remember when they had that deal where Ric Flair came for the Hall of Fame and then they said Christian? We was like, wow. Christian is important to TNA because of what he did in TNA. So that was a big deal for them. What I'm saying, in the space to keep face and to make sure that, not only TNA is a valuable, hey, if I need something, y'all, look what I did for you. Y'all had my biggest star make an appearance. Now come on back. And then if we need her again at SummerSlam, as in Jordan Grace, or maybe like what you call said in the comments, Decay, anybody, you know what I mean? It won't be a hesitation because they benefited from it. That's what I'm saying. Y'all talking about sending Natalia down there like her as an NXT run to go work. I said just send her there because she eliminated Jordan in the Royal Rumble because I wanted to see that. And it don't have to be a match. I was just saying send her because it's going to – it's for – it's nothing. Y'all not getting it. Y'all think I'm talking about sending her down there.
No,
I just can't imagine you pitching this.
I get it. I like, don't get me wrong. I like the pitch.
And he's a businessman because when you want somebody to be recognized in WWE, who better to do it? Because he's a businessman. He knows if TNA flourishes, WWE will as well.
Right. But you talking about businessmen, right? And you think about it. I think I don't have nothing wrong with your premise and where you're coming from. I think the execution's got to be reversed. I think Jordan Grace and TNA benefits more from her showing up on WWE's platform than Bianca. Because when you're talking business, let's keep it real. I notice what we want to see. We think it'd be great, but let's be like, TNA doesn't have a TV deal. They don't access TV. They don't benefit from an appearance from Bianca Belair. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Jordan Grace shows up on WWE programming over and over again, or just even like I said, whatever working partnership it is, and even it's her showing up to confront Bianca because she eliminated, and then she goes back home to TNA. Immediately, people are going to be familiar with, oh, that's the girl from TNA, and they're going to say, wait a minute, or they may say stuff like, well, shoot, TNA's back, because the wrestling audience, WWE has them in a chokehold. Is because the diehards are not keeping TNA's doors open. Like the diehards are not getting them a new TV deal. They're going to be there regardless. Versus that mainstream audience is the reason why everybody's talking about Jordan Grace, because Jordan Grace has been Jordan Grace for a while now, but outside of us wrestling fans, you know what I mean? But like I said, I don't mind the premise. It's interesting. It's a different take. That's why we have these conversations, because
and let me ask you this: what is TNA have coming up that they would need a notable name to make people go do it? That TKO is helping with.
What's TNA got coming up? What's
TKO doing for them?
Oh, their
streaming service.
Actually, it's Endeavor. The parent company has TNA Plus. Yeah. They got TNA Plus, so it's like there is some sort of working relationship. We don't know the nature of it, but listen, if Bianca Belair shows up on TNA programming, Brother Brandon, untap your phones because they're listening. Interesting take. I'm interested to hear other people say. We got to clip this off social media. I want to hear other people. Bianca Belair showed up. That'd be massive. It would definitely be a huge get for them. But yeah, it was plenty of other surprises as well. Not only that, Jade made her WWE debut, and I must say, not only did she look absolutely stunning, she looked good in the ring. I think they did a good job of protecting her.
Phenomenal. Yep.
Making sure she didn't do too much, making sure she wasn't in a situation to do too much. I think they catered to her all the things that she does well. And I think she shined. I think she had an excellent WWE debut. Now, how do you feel about Jade, Brother Brandon? How would you feel about if Jade was in that spot with if they sent Jade to TNA to work? It doesn't have the same star power?
Because she's just established herself in WWE. Like everybody knows who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's just, it would feel like, oh, isn't that the AEW woman that went to WWE that's down there to a casual person? A year from now will be a different conversation because the WWE has treated her right. It has done a lot for her character development that we we know who she is, but like not knowing who she is, her first month of appearances made you say, okay, who is this woman and what is she about to do? You know, and then for the roar of the crowd, her debut to be in the Royal Rumble and to last down to the last few moments was spectacular. It was exactly what should have been happening with her in the past. She didn't need a lot of squash matches when she really couldn't invest in her. But now we're invested. How many people are sitting here waiting to see what's next for Jade now? Had it not been this build-up, we wouldn't be sitting here saying, all right, we want to see what's next for her.
Mm-hmm. Brother Hugh, you made the noise. Were you happy to see Jade in person?
Absolutely.
That was the first time?
Yes, because I didn't go into any AEW events yet.
Gotcha.
But
you didn't go to one DC?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I didn't make it.
Not even the one at the yes, you did. No, that was ROH we went to at the
no, that was ROH.
Yeah, that was ROH in the same place they held them.
Right. The UMBC.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just watching. Well, first of all, when she came out, the roar from the crowd, man, it was just electric.
How did they get that music?
Right. Dylan says
it sounded like her same music, didn't it?
Anything.
She has rights to it. She owns it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
I couldn't tell
because I thought it was the same thing
when she showed up in when she first showed up in AEW.
Yeah, I couldn't hear her music, but I do know that she owns it. I heard Kaz talking about
that phrase, "The storm is coming" hers.
Yeah, I think
because I know you can't what you call it catchphrases. You can't copyright catchphrases unless it's something like a part of a name. So that's why I was like, maybe she owns that part. Because I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Okay. What about you, Brian H? You happy to see Jade?
Yes, sir.
Jade Cargill looked good.
And I saw it, so I again watching this stuff. When Nia cleared the ring, I said, okay, something's gonna happen. First time it was Becky. And then this time I'm looking. So I'm standing facing because so where my seat was, like I'm like on the floor, but towards the back part of the right side, not near the entrance, but a healthy distance from it, right? So I could look at the wall that was in the back of the stadium, and when I saw the letters come up, it was like, oh snap, she's here. And that's when, you could see everybody going off, and because that's the one thing that they did a good job as far as revealing the names with the logos and stuff, because a lot of stuff that a lot of music didn't hit because
yeah, you couldn't really hear it.
Petition to bring Jim Johnston back.
There's been a conversation about that,
huh?
There's been a conversation about that.
Yeah, because it's so generic, and we talked about that on Wednesday Worldwide today. Like we dove into a lot. So when she came out there, it was like, oh snap! And then just seeing those moments, man, her and Bianca, because that's something like they would be at events together, but they would never take pictures together for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Until I think until Jay became a free agent. Oh no, that was her and Trinity or something. But like they would be, WWE might send Bianca to like a NASCAR and Jay was sent by AEW, But it's like
the football game together too.
It might have been, yeah. But they would never like, understanding, having worked in, media relations.
Sure.
I can understand why that was like, no, this is a PR nightmare. We don't want to start nothing right now. So it was great though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed her. I'm excited to see what she do. I got a feel SmackDown gonna be good Friday. SmackDown, man.
You think that's what
she
said?
Very well in the ring. She moved very well in the ring. That's for sure.
Look, Natty said she looked good. Natty said she ready.
Do you think it's SmackDown so that her and Bayley can have a program post Mania, or is it SmackDown because that's where the best place she fits?
I think Raw is tag team heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
I've always felt Raw after the draft.
She fits,
yeah, I think she fits. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like it's boy, I don't even want to get into the booking her just yet. I'm
just saying because I was worried like where did she go? Because I feel like she would fit in any three places and be that. But I'm like, if Tiffany Stratton, I'm just using her for example, wasn't on NXT, would I be saying it's okay for her to go to NXT? If Bayley wasn't on SmackDown, would I be saying she'd be okay on SmackDown? If Becky wasn't on Raw, like it's okay for her to go to Raw. Like certain players are in places, you're like, where do you want to see her first? We get you saying in our mind booking her. She's gonna get around to the whole roster, but where do we want to see her first? What's our first program? What's the next year look like? You know what I mean? Like I ain't even worried about the Mania. I'm just worried about where's she gonna be? When is the next Jade sighting?
No, I don't need none of them, Dylan. I mean, Micah.
Yeah, I'm good off now.
Well, listen, we had plenty of surprises.
Sky Blue.
We had plenty of surprises with the Women's Rumble, and like I said, we don't have time to get into all of it because we're already kind of running over a little bit. But let's get into our famous segment: good for business, bad for business. Now, this is pretty straightforward because we've been kind of alluding to it, but Bayley wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes, he wins the men's Royal Rumble this year. Gentlemen, well, this good for business, this bad for business. Cody repeating Bayley in this space for the first time. Talk to you people. Good for business, bad for business. Our 2024 Royal Rumble Women. Should it have been somebody else?
I just think you could have elevated another star in the men's division.
There we go. We got some controversy.
I just don't think on it. I just don't think Cody Rhodes needed to win the Royal Rumble this year.
Never mind. Meet him. We thought we was talking about Bayley. Nope,
he's already a made man.
Right.
He's already a made man. So why do we have to do this? Like we know it's about his story. He doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to face Roman. All he has to do is just step right in there and tell Roman, I'm facing you. That's it. They could have put somebody else in there. They could have elevated Jey Uso.
No, come on, cut it out. Devil's advocate. Who would you have elevated in this moment if it wasn't Cody Rhodes?
No seriousness though. No, but it's definitely good for business. Cody is somebody. We talk a lot about like, okay, being a replacement with John Cena and stuff. Here's the thing: Cody put himself in another echelon. It's a reason he won the Royal Rumble back to back. It's more than just finishing the story. It's okay. We're going all in with you. We're going to take you further than you can imagine. We're looking to make you a bigger star than your father ever was, and that's a tall task. But being in an elite class that includes Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's a big deal. You know, as much as I want to see it, I don't think it'll happen. Cody could lose again and still find a way to make it third time is the charm. That's how good Cody Rhodes is. Like, like I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not delusional. You know, but I mean, you know, with September right there, why not? But either way, you know, he's just that good. So I think that it's great for business. The people are still around him. He's somebody who found a way to lose and get more traction without having to make a major change. You know, like yeah. And how long it take Dusty to be Flair?
3 years. See,
crap!
I can't do another year. This.
But you can though. You can,
and you will.
And you will. What do you think, brother? You good for business, bad for business. This
WrestleMania in Atlanta.
Is that next year, right?
They don't have a home for 41 yet. They don't even have a home for SummerSlam yet. Rumors are saying Minnesota.
Don't they announce it that weekend of Mania? They announced what next year. I don't know. They used
to. Last year it was announced before SummerSlam. A couple of years
randomly
ago,
announcing it.
Yeah, it was announced before. When they announced 3 in a row. That was the week of the divisional round of the playoffs. They announced,
which was crazy. I was like, why would they announce that many far in advance?
Yeah, they had them all locked in, you know. But I mean, Rocky, come on, man.
He's sitting at a different table.
No, I want you to sit at this table and interrupt. You know, I don't care about you.
Once I found out he joined the TKO board of directors, I said, "Oh, that's the table he's sitting at." Never mind, he's not.
That's what he's talking about.
Yep, brother Hugh. Good for business and bad for business. Our 2024 Royal Rumble Women's. Bayley for the women's. Cody Rhodes on the men's side. Is this the right move?
Both of them are good for business. Bayley for obvious reasons. I mean, like I said earlier, it just made sense. That was the major storyline for the women. But Cody, as much as I don't want it to happen, I mean, the people want to see him pursue him, you know, finishing his story or whatnot.
Can I ask you a
question? I understand it. Yes.
Why don't you want to see him finish the story?
Because I acknowledge my tribal chief.
Since when? You
always acknowledge the tribal chief.
I've always been there. There.
You too?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I've always been there.
Anyways, go ahead. Now, because I think you said it because you know what's going to happen. You know he's about to lose. It's over now. Ladies and gentlemen, please stick around. That's the last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what happens to the bloodline. We had this conversation in a text message earlier in the group, and we said we're going to bring this to the show. How does this all end? But go ahead. You said you acknowledge your tribal chief, Cody Rhodes.
I just want the tribal chief to surpass Hogan. That's it.
Oh, see, that's a double turn. That's you guys need double turns.
No, I can't rock with Hogan, bro. No, pass him. Let's get it done. He can get the story done next year. He can.
I mean, that was the Hulk Hogan, but it's time for a new tribal chief of the record,
exactly,
or whatever.
Exactly.
What about Bayley? You think Bayley was the right one on the women's side?
Oh yeah, Bayley was the right one.
Okay,
it makes sense. Like I said, it just makes sense. Who else are you gonna put in that position?
That's the first question I'm always asking. So I'm with you.
Becky Lynch was the next one, you know, but to be honest, did she really even need it? And Bayley, she's been the MVP for so long. Ever since she came back at SummerSlam, she's been doing her thing as a role model, just in-ring talent. She's been on point. So I mean, she deserved it.
In-ring talent,
brother Brandon,
amazing. Love it.
Good for business, bad for business. Did WWE get it right this year for the women's side and the men's side? Good for business, bad for business. Cody Rhodes on the men, Bayley for the women.
I think
what say you, Booker man?
For the women, for the women, it was good for business because that's what the crowd wanted. That's what we needed, and that's what Bayley needs this moment. Being second, third string of the women's division, but still being a backbone, it's hard to do. So she's, the 4-horsewoman that always was bringing up the rear, and now she gets her spotlight. Because when she's in the spotlight, it's, oh, okay. And each time she's been in the spotlight, it's been different. And remember, Bayley was the first Grand Slam women's champion.
Right.
And now that she's punched her ticket at the Rumble, she now has that title. I've held everything now at this point. This was the one thing that she hasn't had to have her historic career at that level. Now, do I think that she faces EO? I don't know now, because I feel like I know the Damage Control storyline is still unfolding, so it's a good thing that we are going to keep that story going. But I think it's going to be a bad if it doesn't live up to what we are expecting, because Triple H's storytelling, we got a long time to Mania, but we don't have a long time to Mania. And remember, he could cut on a story and make us care, and all the speculation, who knows what's going to happen. But Bayley definitely good. Cody, I think it was good because it quieted the rumblings. Triple H is very strategic in doing certain things to stop the, will he, won't he? Because he had to quiet the noise of, but we want The Rock. Hold on, I don't know if you're going to get The Rock. Stop it. You got Cody. There. Look, it was like a silencer in a sense that it's like, yeah, let's give Cody another accolade. And let's call it what it is. Since he's been back, Cody's only been a tag team champion, which is crazy that this man has been this much of a figurehead on the cover of the video game, kissing his belt and giving it to kids, signing autographs, doing all the things that, a good white collar baby face, or what's the term you call it?
For the wrestling club's WrestleMania tickets.
Yes. He's doing everything possible. So you got to give him another nudge to put him into that category, because remember, they played it up and now they're making him a bigger star to dethrone whatever you want to call him, the dragon. He's got to have so much more going behind. He slayed the beast. He beat Seth Rollins. He's done all this stuff. He had all this adversity. It's time. So I think it was good for business to stop the noise, or it was good for business to pump up the Mania event, because Bubba Ray said it. Is that beating Hogan record more important than him finishing the story?
Nobody
and that's the only thing.
Bubba Ray thinks.
Wow.
I can't remember what Brandon thinks.
That is wild.
I'm just, and when he made that statement, I'm like, it's so close. Yeah. And I'm gonna stick past my theory that WWE had one way of getting out of this, but they didn't. If Cody last year would have just won the WWE Championship, and the Universal title still could have been as important, and it could have had that, he could hold that until 2027 for all I care, because you could have kept having those different types of challenges. So
what should just never merged the belts in the first place?
That's what I'm saying. If he would have, because remember, Cody said he wanted a WWE Championship, but then after he won the Rumble, I was like, wow, you just ruined the whole thing. Like, just like with the SmackDown and the Raw belts, if they just say, like they did before, this match is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and that's how you split the belts up. So if they would have just won the Mania saying, no, I want the WWE Championship, and guess what? Roman's first loss, but he still would have been reigning as champion, because remember, he said it. He made that Universal title special. He made that the most important title.
True.
And it still could have been rolling with it, even if they say, we're going to give you another title and made it black and gold. I mean, you could have did so much with it, but I'm nervous because I think that reign is more important than Cody finishing the story.
Cody's going to
Cody be good, man.
I promise.
He has enough
as much as
okay.
I don't want to be like me and Dwayne. You didn't see me and Dwayne's face when we got. Now, I'll tell you this.
I felt so deceived.
If Downstate is there, one.
Oh, boy.
If Cody, mama, and his baby mama, and his baby is there, ringside, if those three elements are there, he's winning.
And I'm going to be looking.
If Downstate, if they're booked, we need to keep checking their Twitter page. If they say they in Philly for the weekend, because it's got to be the biggest spectacle ever.
Tell them stay home.
And if they are there, he's
coming
winning
to an end.
And then Cody Elevator is going to get assembled so he can come out the floor.
He's coming out the floor, baby.
He's coming out. He walked to the ring, didn't he? With wings on his back.
No, because I definitely don't watch the match, but I pay more attention to the winners' interest.
Yeah, his wings had he just I can't wait to Roman lose it. He had like wings in the back of his jacket.
I'm gonna use my PTO.
Yeah, you do that.
I'm telling you I'm telling you, when WrestleMania, when the main event starts at 9:00, because the interest is going to take an hour, you gonna understand why. When night 2, the main event starts today, you're like, wait a minute, is it really starting? Cody gonna need a whole half an hour because he got to do 12 woes to get to the ring. Roman going to be flying down on doves under his ankles like he's a Greek god flowing down to the ring with the slowest walk ever.
Roman should be like, I'm not going to that stadium. I'm a 49er. I don't go in the Eagles trash.
That's
what my tribal chief should say. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna talk to him.
No, yeah, you do that. Listen. So I got a question. We're at a dilemma. We're almost hitting 2 hours. It's time for us to get ready to wrap up. We have a very important topic to talk about. I don't know if you guys want to tackle this right now because this may go longer than you intended. We can save this for another show, or we can talk about it now. So it's up to you, good brothers, because we have to answer the question about the bloodline. Since Brian H. and Brother Hugh want to have this conversation so bad, the question really is, how does this all end?
Coming up next week. No, my bad. I thought you was finished.
What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to tackle it now? Because this might be a can of worms.
Right.
You guys want to? Because we could say this for something a little bit closer to WrestleMania, because it's almost, to me, it's inevitable. But Brian H. and Brother Hugh holding on to their last little bit of what's left of the bloodline. But with
say it again. I'm sorry. What you say? The way I couldn't hear you.
No, okay. Let me say it louder. The last little bit of it, because they're no longer as strong as they were. Empires rise and empires fall, and we're going to see it fall. Let's just call a spade a spade. The question is, how is it going to fall? Look, you got thumbs up. Your man might make a crucial mistake. So
you don't think it's already? You don't think that they number 1 and 2 in the Royal Rumble didn't already set the stage for them to come about them?
Solo might put him out of business. It's my turn now. I'm the heir. I don't know. You guys, so listen. You guys want to tackle this now, or we can wrap the show? What do you guys want to do? Is this something you want to get into right now?
How about we do this, Dwayne? Why don't we take to the socials with this all week and engage the people all week, so that way anybody want to come on the air next week saying it, we can address all the comments next week and make that the topic of the show.
That's
and we can actually have Hugh make his sexy graphics where people make stuff on on the Twitter sphere and Instagram.
We'll work
he can put their comments on the screen, right? You're welcome.
Brother Brandon, that's good. You should have a show. I think you should do a show every Tuesday night where you talk about belts and you interact with people.
Yeah, because
that was a great idea.
You know, it's a great time at 8 p.m. It's a good time. People usually watch stuff at 8 p.m. Prime time.
Should we go live or should it be recorded? Which one, Hollywood?
Half and half.
Half. But with
the people.
But you know what's crazy?
It's good enough.
But you know what's crazy, Brian? Somebody was supposed to have 5 shows that hasn't given us any clue. We're all nervous about this, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Not at all.
We are so nervous. We are so nervous.
You said 5.
Because look, I'm telling you, one day we're gonna log in and go like, nope, not tonight. It's me. I know this was gonna happen. I know. I'm just waiting. And I thought last night, I was like, if the wait is in this waiting room, I'm gonna die, because he was so quiet all the time.
I got some stuff I need to upload.
It's happening.
But that is actually a really good idea. So we're going to save this conversation. We're going to put us out. So we'll build up to this in Triple H fashion. But we'll get ready to wrap this show up, man. Royal Rumble 2024 has officially begun the road to WrestleMania. We are officially there. We have Cody Rhodes, who has won the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble back-to-back. We have BAYLEY, who has won the Women's Well, thank you, good brothers, for hanging in. Thank you for everybody in the chat right now, everybody who's viewing the show that stayed with us all the way through this. Definitely leave your comments on what you thought about the Royal Rumble this year. What were your favorite parts? What was your favorite Rumble? The men's or the women's? Give us your comments. Give us your ideas, your thoughts, your 2 cents. We are going to get ready to wrap this up. Remember, just don't forget to check out Championship Culture, youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm, Championship Culture playlist. The show will be on the homepage live and available every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Definitely follow them on all their social media platforms. Follow the Wrestling Wrealm on all social media platforms at Wrestling Wrealm. Subscribe to our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube at the Wrestling Wrealm. Gentlemen, we have done it again. We have served the people what they needed to hear. They wanted to hear some superior wrestling intellect, and we have done our job once again. We will be back again next week to talk about the next chapter of where the road to WrestleMania takes us. We have another stop. We got to go to Perth, Australia for Elimination Chamber. We hope to see you there because I sure as heck won't be there. But we will definitely be here to talk about it.
Don't go to Perth, so I ain't going.
Okay, well, there it is. We ain't going to Perth, but guess what? We definitely going to have a conversation about it. So definitely join us next week. Championship Culture every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Brian H. doing Brian H. things. Has a Third doing Has Their things. The Belt King, Brandon Guy doing Brandon Guy things. And the realness, always keeping it real. We are out here. We will catch you next week. Peace out.
Houston, we have a problem. Yes!